This HOA Karen lies about a position of power, has cars towed, and then says the cops are lying with their rules. How can they shut her down? This incident occurred approximately July 2023. I moved into a lovely townhome community located in Pasco County, Florida, and immediately took notice of the parking situation. A family resident member's vehicle received a sticker on the driver's window stating illegally parked, with the added threat of being subsequently towed. The vehicle did not block traffic, nor did it impede the road throughway whatsoever. In fact, 95% of the vehicle was on or over the driveway. When we politely asked why in a private Facebook group, we were immediately informed via an authoritative response from the group's self-appointed moderator, whose words spoke on behalf of the HOA. We have had to agree to certain rules by the county or we will be fined again. The moderator continued, all the tires have to be on the pavers. After we responded for clarification, the moderator barked. The rules state that all 4 tires, and actually the rear end of the car, need to be on the pavers. She apparently appears to speak on behalf of the HOA, did not make the rules, and actually no part of the vehicle can be on the street. If we do not comply with the rules, then the HOA is the one that is fined $5,000 per incident, which is then passed on to the owners. We cannot afford to do that. As an aside, I have resided in this same Florida county for over 20 years and have never heard of this excessive rule and law. Hence, I reached out to a few friends who are Pasco Sheriff, as well as the Pasco Code Compliance, all of which irrefutably stated that the moderator's words were 100% false and uncorroborated, nor is the slightly protruding vehicle a county offense. I captured screenshots of the discussion with the moderator as appeared on our private Facebook group, that is, prior to the moderator deleting the entire discussion and blocking our account from further interaction. Talk about suppression of our rights to free speech and our qualification as residents to question policy per the threat that she made against us by someone claiming to represent the HOA. I have reported her full name, place of business, a RE/MAX realtor, and the discussion to the Sheriff's Department. This community of townhomes offers very small driveways, enough for one vehicle only. Many residents, like us, utilize their garage for storage, water softener equipment, and so on, and therefore cannot park inside the equally tiny garage. Moreover, their limited guest spaces are near always unavailable. The bottom line is that this excessive parking policy seems to negatively impact the morale of the community, other than a few people who seem bothered by otherwise trivial matters. I've spoken with numerous neighbors who stated that their grief with this excessive driveway rule and would like to see it amended and relaxed. We spoke today with a neighbor on our street whose car was towed after only 20 minutes passed, unbeknownst to them, at a cost of $200. Why is a community spokesperson spreading disinformation? More importantly, why is the moderator spreading disinformation? The Sheriff's Department was quick to say that nearly all HOAs lie, playing good cop, bad cop, blaming their department for the HOA's often excessive and nonsensical policies set by a few Karens. In our case, the Sheriff's Department was not in agreement or support of her authoritative comments. In fact, the active LEO with whom I spoke stated that the sheriffs do not ticket and citation for such parking matters. In fact, they would ticket for a blocked fire hydrant, but even in that situation, the ticket would go to the owner of the vehicle and not the HOA, as misrepresented by the moderator. Additionally, their largest, most aggressive fine is $500, not $5,000 as stated by the moderator. They concluded stating, no one has the right to tow your vehicles, especially claiming that it's a county violation. And, most importantly, the Sheriff Department said the HOA cannot supersede county laws and ordinance. In the days that followed, the moderator of the private Facebook group threatened and carried out the threat to kick members from her own private group if they contribute to these horror stories. Moderators, especially those representing a community such as she, self-appointed, should remain unbiased and professional. Unfortunately, the contrary has occurred. Some examples of this ludicrous policy from our open to the public community roads serving as proof that the residents want and need to park this way, and in doing so does not whatsoever impede traffic. Yes, it may cause a small few people to experience hurt feelings and require safe space recuperation, but by no means were any county laws broken. Update from OP, replying to a comment that says, "Nothing stops you from starting an HOA Facebook page, unofficial also of course, and inviting your neighbors." OP says, "That is precisely what occurred as a result of the mod's bullying bias." The mod is a self-professed volunteer, i.e. a neighborhood resident, Karen, who demonstratively leverages her role as the private group's admin to bully residents, renters and owners alike, into submission by 1. Falsely blaming policy enforcement on the local sheriff's department, 2. Removing community members' right to question and or politely protest policy by blocking them from her private group and deleting their inquiries, and 3. Literally threatening and executing removal of her group's joined members, merely for joining a new public group that was created for the community's residents to openly and without bias share their concerns, insight, and so on. When we speak directly with neighbors, we have yet to meet a single one who agrees with the overreaching parking rules, such as one's vehicle and its entire chassis must sit 100% vertically over the driveway pavers or be fined and or towed. Neighbors have to play musical cars and or squeeze their vehicles into the equally small garage and driveway. Who designs a home with a single car driveway? The HOA's excessive policy only adds insult to injury. We respect laws. When they seem outside of logic and reason, they should be open to revisit. We should show zero respect towards bullies and keyboard cowards. Rules aren't meant to be permanent. Look at the world in which we live today, for example. Open, healthy debate is what makes America great, and precisely what a certain party is working overtime to remove from citizens. Shutting down free speech is exactly what the go-to is in this mess in the first place. We refuse to allow it to infiltrate our neighborhood and domicile. Karen boss desperately needed my uniform back the next day. No excuses. Posted by deleted. Okay, so a little backstory first. I'm a 20-year-old college student full-time, and I'm doing 23 plus hours a week on top of classes to make ends meet. I live paycheck to paycheck, and I have a car that I am and was paying off. I used to work in a McDonald's in my hometown, but since I moved to live on campus, which was 45 minutes away from my old job, I wasn't willing to make the commute. So I decided to apply and got accepted to a small sandwich shop 10 minutes from my college, which was a blessing. It started out great, plenty of hours, easy work, fast days, till the old manager decided to switch stores. The new manager was one of the biggest Karens you have ever met, like bad, and when I say bad, I really mean it. She completely changed the procedures and made things so much worse. And when I'd have to stay over sometimes 2 or 3 hours after closing, she'd burst in the next day yelling and screaming at the top of her lungs, "Stop staying later, you have to be out by 8:30 and we won't pay you for any time past then." I had no choice because the list that she gave me to do to close out the store alone every night, may I add, was extremely time consuming. Especially with no help, I was expected to stop serving at 8 and do 5 people's worth of work in 30 minutes. It simply wasn't doable. Hearing that I wasn't going to be paid for time that I worked, time I spent making sure everything was done on the list before I left, otherwise I'd be fired for not doing all of it, would go unpaid, as well as I'd be fired if I stayed longer than 8:30. There was no winning. On top of that, the moment management switched, they decided they were giving people too many hours and cut me only 3 hours a week. That went on for 4 weeks till I decided that enough was enough. $45 work weeks wasn't even worth putting in the time and effort to even show up. So, on one of my weekends, I was with my parents off campus. I was due to work that day. 3 hours, of course, my only day that week. I was shopping near said sandwich shop, it's located inside a Walmart, and my mom and I were discussing for the last week how should I just quit, since it seems like they're just trying to fire me without saying they're firing me, wanting me to leave on my own so they wouldn't need to fill out paperwork. Right then and there, I decided, know what? Screw this job, screw my entitled Karen boss. I sent her a text that I quit on the spot and to not expect me to come in that night for my shift. She texts me back ranting about how since I'm not giving her a 2-week notice, I'll never be able to work at one of those sandwich shops again. At that point, I didn't really even care. I had already give up my brand new car of only 4 months because I couldn't pay my loan and insurance. It was a nice car too, a white shimmery 2016 Hyundai Sonata. I love that thing. I told her at some point that week I tried to get the brand new uniform that, funny enough, they had just given to me the week prior, a whole 3.5 months after I started working there. But I warned her my classes run till right before closing. I didn't know when I'd be able to do so. She texts back in what I could only imagine the snarkiest tone possible. No, I really need that uniform back tomorrow. I told her, well, I'm sorry, but that may not be possible due to my school schedule. I'm not willing to ditch a class to drop off a few pieces of clothing. She said, no, you will bring it back tomorrow. Don't even try to lie to me. You were seen in store the day you quit. No excuses. Okay then, she said, no excuses. I didn't want to go into an argument with her over it. Well, and knowing that she herself would be closing that day and my classes ended at 8 exactly, well, I happily complied. I made sure that I'd arrive right as she was closing the lock on the gate. I was bringing the clothes in my reusable shopping bag. I had no throwaway bags, and since she can't take and claim my bag as her own, I was just going to give her the clothes one piece at a time. Knowing she would have to carry them out of the store, juggling them back home, made me happy. When it came time to deliver my uniform to her, all the stars seemed to align perfectly. I arrived at 8:30, caught her on the way out with the outfit, not even in a reusable bag to begin with. As an extra touch of sweet unplanned irony, it was raining outside. Hard rain. The sidewalks, I guess, were extra slippery and muddy, because on my way in, I slipped and landed chest first into the mud. I was mostly spared, though, because the clothes were there to break my fall and absorb most of the filth. Dropping off the muddy, loose clothes, seeing her reaction, watching her stomp her feet, wrench in disgust, holding the clothes 10 feet away from her body, huff and puff and march out the store in pure shock and disbelief. She didn't even have words for me. It was the sweetest revenge that I had ever seen. This did mean, though, that I had to buy a whole new set of clothes and change in the Walmart bathroom, but it was all worth it to see her reaction in the end. After I had returned to my dorm that evening, I sent her a text saying simply, "Enjoy," and I blocked her number. Safe to say, karma really did pay out on my end. Security tells me no. Okay, it's no. Posted by Available Election 86. I work for a subsidiary of a Fortune 500 as a manager of a dev team. I have 7 people under me, think L3 people, very knowledgeable and driven to solve issues. We're all remote. I'm lucky my team is mostly great and we achieve the objectives we are given. One day, the new security manager decides that devs are not allowed to be administrators of their laptops. He writes a new company policy for it. It's a crap show for us. It means my team can't work on some applications that require administrative rights. Also, as devs know, some bugs need my guys to install and deinstall and reinstall the applications many times to make it work, changing only a few parameters each time. So I try to push back, saying that it might impact our service level agreements, but the security manager doesn't want to understand, and he just sends me emails with "No" in bold and caps. His boss is AFK, away from keyboard, for health reasons, so I can't escalate as I would have. The only way to make my guys work is that we need someone with the admin rights to unlock them when they need it. That admin is part of the support center. So, cue malicious compliance. I ask for my team to create a ticket each time. They're not happy about it, of course. The support center manager isn't happy either, because we create a lot of tickets, and his team has been understaffed for a while. I also tell all the other managers in my department to do the same, and even though they create a lot less tickets than my team, it helps. Of course, this is my plan. If my team is unhappy, other people in the company are going to be too. So, pressure piles up. The support center manager is unhappy. His boss saw the numbers increase too, so he's unhappy too. He talks to my boss, but hey, I have emails from the security manager. The support center manager asked me to be reasonable and asked for a number of hours per week. I'm a team player, of course, so yes, I want to help him. I ask for 20 hours per week for a guy from his team to sit around waiting for my team to need him, unlock their install, and then wait some more. I'm guessing the admin is pretty happy about it because it's way less pressure than his normal job and there's not much to do but type in an admin password once in a while. It helps reduce, or not increase, the number of tickets, but the support center has less people so they resolve less tickets than before. Then comes the climax. One application has a critical bug outside of the hours of the support center guy. So I tell them, as per my agreement with the support center manager and obeying the security manager, my team can't work on it yet. We'll have to wait until the next day. It's a healthcare product, so it means a lot of our customers are going to be upset about it. I can't say too much, I don't want to be found. Of course, since I'm a reasonable guy, the support center manager is too, so we find someone with admin rights and put my guys to work. The resolution of the ticket takes much longer than usual to solve because of all the back and forth between the admin and my team. During the post-mortem, it's found that the new security policy was the main delaying cause. Every member of my team told the post-mortem woman that, as I did. I have all the emails I sent to the security manager highlighting the risk of this new policy and him saying that he didn't care for it. I sent that to the post-mortem woman and let her find the way in the politics. 3 months later, the security manager doesn't work for us anymore, and most of my members of my team, but not all, have admin rights on their machine. I learned that the support center manager has made his mission in life to complain about the security manager to everyone who would listen and have him fired. And the support center manager knows a lot of people in the company. His director agreed with him, and with the post-mortem woman, or her boss, I'm not sure at this point, they convinced the VP to fire the security manager even before the security director came back from his health issue. Sued the HOA. They towed my truck twice off my property with updates. Click the video on your screen so you find the final fallout of this one, and I'll see you there.